Good morning, everyone. Thank you for meeting with me again today. Last week was the Easter holiday, and I was actually traveling in Cuba with my partner, and we had a lovely time and learned a lot and really have great sympathy for the suffering of the Cuban people. And we're looking forward to going again and bringing more things that we can give away. So feeling very grateful for little things like coffee and wine and clean water and vegetables and fruits that we can buy in the grocery store so easily. I actually don't have a plan for the day. Normally, I have emails from our participants to sift through and to guide the class, but I haven't had a chance to look at anything. So I am just going to see where we're guided to practice today. And I kind of like that. As always, we begin at the beginning and we get into the mindful body. If you're new to our class, that is a posture that is strong and straight, but comfortable. Something you can hold for 15 minutes in a pretty relaxed way. We don't need to do any hand postures or sit cross-legged unless you would like to. We're looking for something where we can be still, but strong and flexible. And awake. So if you zone out lying down, sit up or stand up. I'm seated in my partner's house at the kitchen table, and I've just got my hands up on my lap, palms up. My feet are flat on the floor. My back is pretty straight, but not rigid straight. I want to be able to be focused and attentive in this posture without shuffling. In order to settle into our practice, we normally circle through a few anchors: sound, breath, body scan. So let's begin to do that. Let's inhale deeply and just exhale slowly. There is no right and wrong way to breathe. It's involuntary, so just relax and do it. If I relax my abdomen to breathe, then I inflate my entire torso, kind of down to the hips. And so that's a big breath. And let's just imagine your favorite smell to assist with ease in the breath. Maybe it's lavender or gardenias or bacon, cookies, your mom's kitchen. And just visualize preparing to receive your favorite fragrance. There's an anticipation and relaxing that comes as we prepare to fill up on something that's very decadent and fulfilling. A good smell is marvelous. We inhale deeply and savor it, and then exhale slowly. Let's attach some rhythm to that, as I say to my singers. Let's inhale deeply for 1, and hold that for 2. And let's exhale for 4. If you're struggling with breath or asthma or anything like that, that might be a hard ratio, so just take down the exhale to a comfortable count. to sit there for a minute with the physicality of the breath before we attach a mantra or intention to the breath? One thing that comes to mind from Cuba is gardenias, my favorite flower, except for lilacs, which grow here. I love lilacs too. So that's what I'm calling to mind for my visualization. As a practice during the course of this year, we have been inhaling thoughts of strength, thoughts of purpose, thoughts of ease, a reminder of our true nature, a reminder of our highest and best, of the spiritual qualities that we want to manifest and emanate in the world. And so let's inhale, visualizing ourselves as highest and best. Perhaps that means being less reactive in a confrontational situation, or comfortable in a new environment, kinder in both our thoughts and words. So for this enormous goal, it's really the little thoughts and responses that we are looking to track. And that's what's basically life-changing, is moving our basic thoughts and responses to a less reactive and more reflective output. I see a question here in the chat that I will speak to in a little bit. Thank you for submitting that. Now let's attach an intention to our exhalation, and that is going to be to release the thoughts and emotions that don't serve. Calling to mind that we can't erase or fix our thoughts and emotions, but we can pay attention. We can be selective about which thoughts and emotions we choose to give our attention to, which we choose to energize. The analogy that I use when working with children is a buffet. And of course, when they go to a buffet, are they picking out the zucchini and onions or the things they enjoy? And our work here is to get more comfortable picking out the thoughts that serve and releasing the thoughts that do not serve. So the question I received here in the chat pertains exactly to this part of our practice, and that is, if I am not dwelling on the negative, have I got my head in the clouds? And so the answer is, of course, no. And we will just sit with that for a little bit longer. So physiologically, we are wired to focus on what's negative, and that's just part of our fight response to keeping us safe. However, if this spirals into obsessing over something that is um, unhelpful for supporting our intention to manifest highest and best, then we want to rein that in. Because most of the things we're dealing with do not threaten our physical safety. And so that's something we can choose in meditation practice and in uh, active practice as well. So this is a passive practice where we're sitting together. But active practice is when we are in a state of meditation that is being reflective and mindful of our thoughts and emotions and body while we are busy with other tasks. So that could be, driving a car, washing dishes. It's especially helpful if you are calling this to mind in a high conflict situation. And that's about as much of that question as I'll address with lecture in our practice, because I do want to spend a little more time sitting in stillness. But please feel free to contact me directly so I can elaborate further and direct you to some resources that I have found to be pretty helpful for dealing with that exact topic. So back to the practice of laying intention with our breath, and that is reminding ourselves of the true strength of purpose and character that we are and we wish to manifest. Allowing our strengths to infuse our thoughts and actions. And exhaling what doesn't serve, thereby preventing our fears and worries from hijacking our attempts to be the highest and best that we can be. So preventing the tail from wagging the dog, in other words. Let's take that a bit further. Let's call to mind any situations where in our own lives the tail does wag the dog. I have lots. And so, um, bringing those to mind, and I would really, really like to expand my practice into those reflex reactions. And my reflex reactions tend to be, like road rage driving or blowing up at my kids, basically. That's about it. So as my kids become young adults, it's more and more important for me to be reflective and not reactive, so I can develop and maintain a healthy long-term relationship with them as they um, grow in independence from me. So that's been on my mind a lot lately. And as we sit in practice, your intuition will allow important circumstances to arise, circumstances which you wish to address. Some of you may recall Wayne Dyer. He was an important motivational speaker who passed away a few years ago. And one of his pithy statements has always stuck with me. He says, accountability, it is not crowded along the extra mile. And I thought, yeah, that's what I want. I want my accountability to be highest and best. I want that to spread through all parts of me, through all of my thoughts and decision making. And that's tough. And that's why it's not crowded along the extra mile. So that is a work in progress. We just have a couple more minutes left of our practice, so I invite you to sit in stillness with me, moving through the several anchors that we have discussed today, the breath and body, the thoughts and emotions, allowing other anchors to arise if they seem interesting. For example, many little birds chirping outside the window here and just loving that feeling of spring. And as usual, let's invite one another to deepen our practice over the week by bringing this into our daily lives, actively or passively, when you wake up, when you go to bed, or throughout the day. Thank you for joining me today. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.